Hello everyone, I hope you're all well. Good evening, and I hope you're all excited to attend our 2022 Solution Challenge. And if you're really excited for this event, I want you all to put a thumbs up on the chat. It would be great for me. I would love if you guys are excited to see the event. So before you guys are putting your thumbs up, I have a small clip to show to you. Hey guys, I was unmute. I was muted. Yeah, now let's see about the event's agenda. In this event, we'll be discussing about what solution challenges. We'll be discussing the timeline, judging criteria, the prices, about design sprint, the resources that Google has given us for the solution challenge, and then we'll also be answering some FAQs as well. So now let's see what the Google Developer Students Club 2022 Solution Challenge is. The GDSC Solution Challenges are being held for students to develop solutions for one or more of the 17 Sustainable Development Goals that are given by the UN. I guess you're all able to see the 17 self-development, sustainable development goals on the screen. I'll also share a link about the 17 development goals, and I'll also share a link to a video so that you get a clear idea of what these 17 goals are. These 17 goals are 17 problems targeted by the UN for us to develop solutions on. All right, the links will be shared on the chat box by the moderators. So yeah, guys, now let's see about the timeline of 2022 Solution Challenge. So first up is getting started. Everyone has to join the Google Developer Students Club chapter. They have to be a part. Like in the Solution Challenge, you can participate in teams of 4, and at least one member of your team should be a part of the any Google Developer Student Club chapter. So I'll be sharing the link to the GDSC SRM Ramapuram's chapter dashboard. I'll also share my screen. I'll take it to that screen so that all of you are able to register in our dashboard. 1 minute, guys, while I change my screen sharing. I hope you're all able to see my screen. If you go to the link that is sent by our moderators, it will take you to our community dashboard. All you have to do is you just have to sign in with your Google account, and you just have to click this join button at the middle, and you're done. Success, you're now a member of this chapter. That's all it takes to be a part of the solution challenge. And then just a minute, guys, while I share my screen. The next step for participating in the solution challenge is to register through a Google form. I'll share the link to the Google form as well in the chat box, and I'll take you through how to fill the form also. I guess all of you got the links. Okay, just a minute, guys, while our moderators send you the links of the registration link for solution challenge. Yeah, now the registration link has been sent in the chat box. I'll take you to the process of filling it also. Yep. When you go to the link, this is how it will be. First thing, you have to fill your email, your name, and then you have to choose which Google Developer Students Club community you're a part of. Here you have to scroll down, you have to come down to India. You can just click an I, and then please do scroll down until you reach S for you to reach the SRM Institute of Science and Technology. You have to scroll a bit, but then finally you'll reach S India SRM Institute of Science and Technology Ramapuram Chennai. Do select it, and you can select this member role, and then please do select, yes, I'm the GDSC that I'm a part of is of my university, because I guess you're all from SRM Ramapuram. So please do select your ideas of interest that you're going to use in the solution challenge. And then if you have decided the one of the 17 sustainable development goals, please do choose that too. If you're not sure it, if you have not decided it yet, you can choose not sure it here. And then you have some questions here. Please do answer these questions as well, and kindly do agree to the terms and conditions. And before agreeing, I would suggest you guys to go to the terms and conditions and read. This is not very lousy, it is very short, and it would be helpful for you to attend the event as well. So yeah, you can complete filling the form. That's it. All right. And then now I'll share back my slide. Yeah. So now that we completed two steps of getting started in the solution challenge 2022, the next step, the third step, is to form a team. As I told before, in order to be a part of the solution challenge, you can participate in teams with the maximum numbers being 4. All right, you can choose a team of 4. It can be anyone, and as I told before, at least one member from that team should be a GDSC chapter member. So the next step is to choose a sustainable development goal. As I've showed you the 17 sustainable development goals in the previous slide, you have to choose one or more of those sustainable development goals, and then only after then you're going to start designing and building your application. So the next stop is the design and build part. I'll explain you about this part in detail in a later part of this session. Now let's skip to submissions and judging. So in order to submit, the team has to record a demo video of 2 minutes or 120 seconds. It should not exceed 120 seconds, and the video should explain about how a user interacts with your application, and how your application is using the Google products. All right. You'll have to submit your project and your demo video by 31st of March 2022. All right. Once you're done submitting, Google Solutions Challenge organizers will have like 1 month of judging, and they'll select the top 50 teams from the teams all over the world, and then that announcement will be announced in mid of April. All right, after the announcement of the top 50 teams, the top 50 teams will be mentored by the Googlers in order to develop their projects further, in order to take their applications to the next level. After that, there will be the second round of submissions and judging. After that, the top 10 finalists and the contest winners will be chosen by uh, the Googlers. Yeah. After that, from the top 10 finalists, the main top three winners of the global solution challenge, they'll be chosen during the YouTube live that is going to happen on July of this year. Yeah, and that's it. Now let's continue on to the judging criteria of the solution challenge. I guess my screen is visible. So yeah, now let's start from the first criteria. If we divide the criteria into two parts, one is impact and the other is technology. First, in impact, they'll see the first in the first judging criteria. They're gonna see if your application or product is directed towards one or more of the 17 sustainable development goals that I just told. They're gonna check if your application is focused. They're gonna check if your application is made for solving that problem. All right, and they give 10. They award 10 marks for that. After that, they're gonna see how effectively is a solution addressing that problem. uh, the first criteria sees if your solution is developed for a sustainable development goal, and then in the second criteria they're going to see how effectively your solution is addressing the sustainable development goal. So the third judging criteria and the third judging criteria, they're gonna check for evidences where if you say if you've developed the project and you've submitted, they're gonna check if there are evidences for for your project to be taken to the next level. Like for example, like you're upscaling your project, something like that. So 10 marks for that and 20 marks for the second criteria. And then the fourth criteria is the judges will look for the evidences if your application was tested by real-time users. They're gonna see if you gave your application, if you made your application, and if you gave it to real-time users for them to test your application and give you user reviews. You have to keep all of this documented while submitting your solution, the project to the solution challenge, and 10 marks for that also. And then the fifth criteria, the last criteria of the impact category, is that you might have gotten some user reviews from, like, while beta testing your apps while giving it to someone else. So in the fifth criteria, they're going to see if you used that user reviews and you developed a solution further. You're going to say if your application had some bugs or technical difficulties, you're gonna fix all those after hearing the user reviews from the beta testers. And 10 marks for that also. And now let's move to the second category, that is technology. 40 points for technology in total. The first criteria in technology is, does your solution include the necessary tech stacks required to solve the challenge? They're gonna look at your application, and then they're gonna see if the necessary and applicable tech stacks, technical components, have been used in the application. That is the first in technology, 10 marks for that. And then the next criteria is, uh, they're gonna see if your team has explained what Google technology you used in your product. In order to submit your solution for the Solution Challenge 2022, you have to use at least one or more of the Google products. Now I'll share the link where you'll be able to get all the Google products in the chat box. Please do have a look at that also, so that you get an idea of what you can use in your application. 1 minute, guys, while I share the link. The links to all Google developers product has been shared. Kindly make a note of it. It is kind of important. Your solution has to include, it must have used at least one Google developer product. All right. So then the next criteria, they're gonna look at your demonstration video that I mentioned before. Uh, they're gonna see if your demo video explains how an user is interacting. Uh, they're going to see if the working solution, they're going to see if the application is working in the demo video. So make sure that you make a working application and you record it in the demo, and they're going and make sure that you also explain where you're using the Google technologies in the demo video, because that also matters. It is clearly mentioned in the judging criteria of the solution challenge. 10 marks for that also. So yeah, so the final criteria in the judging criteria is they're gonna see if your solution is technologically efficient. Like say for example, they're gonna check the code efficiency, the run efficiency of the solution. That is 10 marks. So that concludes the judging criteria of the solution challenge. 100 points in total, divided into 9 sections. So yeah, now we just saw about what the world gets you, from developing a solution. Now let's see what you get by participating in the solution challenge. Now, and that is prizes. All right. Every participant will receive a Google Developers Digital Profile Badge and an official certificate for participating in the 2022 Solution Challenge. And as I explained in the timeline before, after the first judging criteria, 50 teams will be chosen. The top 50 teams, they'll be given the first round of prizes. They'll receive customized exclusive mentorship from people in Google, the Googlers, and also they'll also receive a official certificate that they've been selected in the top 50 teams, and then they'll also receive a Google branded t-shirt. And then the next prize is for the top 10 finalists. After the second round of judging, the top 10 finalists will be chosen, and those 10 teams, they're going to receive an additional mentorship from the people of Google in order to take their projects to the next level. And then they're going to receive a swag box, and then they're also going to receive an opportunity to display their project like all over the world in the demo day that is going to be held on YouTube. All right. And then there is also a special category called the contest finalists. As you all know, there are 17 sustainable development goals for the solution challenge. So the top winners, the best projects in each of those 17 sustainable development goals, they are the contest finalists. They'll also be finalized after the second judging criteria. Each member in that team will receive $1,000 in cash. uh, like it is not inclusive of the taxes, but then they'll also receive a swag box, and they'll also receive a swag box. The cash money won't exceed $4,000 per team, because as I told before, the participating team will only have 4 members, like a maximum of 4 members. All right. So after that, the top three finalists who are going to be announced in the YouTube stream on July of this year, they will receive $12,000 in total. If they had 4 members in their team, each team member $3,000 in cash. They'll also be featured in the the official Google developer blog. Uh, Along with the swag box. All right, I guess every one of you are clear with the prices of the solution challenge. So yeah, the next step, I'm gonna explain you about the design and build section of the timeline. All right. So yeah, so now I guess all of you, like let's take it from the basics. All right. Say if you're gonna develop a solution for the solution challenge, Yeah, of course, you're going to start from, choosing the problem statement. You're going to choose one or more of the 17 sustainable development goals, and then you're going to work on developing a solution with respect to that problem statement. All right. So, as we've, like, you all must have seen that. I guess you should all know this. Uh, an application doesn't have any meaning if it doesn't have any user, if there are no users to the application. That is the basic sense that we all know. So in order, like, what will get our application more users? The point that our application is more focused on helping the users in some way will make the users look for our application, and they'll have the need to use our application. All right. So the basic thing that a developer should do is that he should take the problem statement, he should understand it, he should clearly understand it. After that, he should define what he has to do, what standards he's going to follow. While developing his application, he's gonna start brainstorming about the ideas he's going to use while developing the project. He's gonna decide after brainstorming what all he's going to actually use in his solution, and then he's going to develop a prototype of his original solution, and then he's going to give that prototype to other people and test it out before developing the solution. All of these steps are very mandate in order for your project to be focused on the actual problem statement. So for the participants of the solution challenge 2022, Google is suggesting one of the best methods uh, to design the solution before developing it, before starting to develop it. All right. And that method is the design sprint. All right. This was developed by uh, GV, previously known as Google Ventures, a subdivision of Google. The design sprint is a 5-day exercise. At the beginning of the exercise, the team will have only the problem statement. They won't have any idea with respect to the solution, but then they'll have only the problem statement. By the end of the fifth day, the team is going to have a working prototype that has been validated by several users by the end of the fifth day. So, uh, doing all this in a very short period of 5 days might seem like a miracle, but then if you're going to follow these tasks every day without fail in a proper manner, you are going to achieve designing your application in just 5 days. So yeah, now I'll explain each of these. Like as I told before, this is going to be a 5-day activity, and I'm going to explain what the team is going to do in each of those 5 days. So yeah, in the first day, there will be two activities. If you're seeing the screen, you'll know the first to understand and define. You're gonna do both of these on the first day. Understand in the first half of the day and define in the second half. So yeah, first understanding your project. All right. And then for understanding your problem statement, the first technique that we're going to use is known as user journey mapping. So first think of yourself as an user who is going to use your app in the future, and each team member of the team is going to try drawing rough sketches of how you want your app to be. Say for example, if you open Instagram, the first page that is going to come is the login page, and then once you log in, it's going to take you to the home page where you're going to see different buttons. When clicked, are going to take you to the various pages like explore, like profile, and etc. So you're going to draw a very rough sketch of your of how you think your application is going to be. All right. So that is user journey mapping. The second thing you're going to do is sometimes even after doing the user journey mapping, the team members might not have a clear idea of, they might not understand how their application is going to be. All right. So what they're going to do is they're gonna ask other people for suggestions. It can be a friend, it can be a family, or anyone else you know. You're gonna tell them that, imagine you're having this problem. Tell them that they're facing one problem from the 17 sustainable development goals, and ask them, if you have this problem, and there is a solution that has been already developed for the problem, how would you expect this, how do you think the solution would be? Ask them their expectations, ask them their ideas, and then note it down. The team has to note it down, and after collecting the ideas, and after having the team's ideas in hand, now what we are going to do is, you're going to put them all together, and you're going to draw another rough draft from the users ideas, from the other people's ideas, and the team's ideas. All right, and that is known as experience mapping. There you're also going to design the UX, the user experience of your application. All right, now this is all for the first half day, like till the afternoon of the first day in the design sprint. And then after the afternoon, in the second half, you're going to define what you're going to. First thing is, you understood what you're going to do. Next thing is, you're going to set your standards, you're going to define your project, you're going to define your application, and you're not going to change your standards. All right, you're going to set it, and then you're going to follow it throughout uh, the development process, so that it will keep you consistent, it will keep your team consistent in developing the project. So that is, first up is defining the design principles. Say if you want some kind of designs in your application. All right, so as a team, discuss with yourselves, and think about what kind of designing standards your application would have. All right, discuss that, note it down, and make sure to set that in the team's mind, that you're going to follow that design throughout your product, throughout the development phase of your product, so that you're being consistent in developing the product. All right, the next step is to define the success metrics. So say for example, you're developing the project, and in the midway you might lose uh, you know the encouragement to further develop. All right, because we have 2 whole months for the solution challenge, so people might lose hope, and they might not stop developing the projects. In order to prevent that, you can set the success metrics. Think of what all good things, think of what all good and what all good things you're going to receive, and your application and the people who are going to use it are going to receive. uh, like, discuss with your team about all these metrics, all these advantages that you're going to get once finish developing your application. uh, once you're done discussing it, your whole team is going to get a motivation to work on the project till the end. You're going to take it till the end, and that is the main need for setting up the success metrics. So that is all for the first day of the design sprint. The team can rest for the rest of the time. So now let's move to the second day. So on the second day, after understanding and defining the principles of your project, your solution that you're going to make, what you're going to do is, you're going to draw again. You're going to sketch your problem, and you're gonna sketch new ideas that each team member would want in that solution. Say if there are 4 team members in the team, and each of them wants different each of them, of course everyone is not going to think on the same aspects, everyone has a different mind. So let everyone think of whatever they want in the project, and let us decide what they want after the sketching part. All right, so first thing is, every team member is going to sketch each of their ideas. So for that, there is a very cool activity that is known as crazy eights. For this activity, the team is going to need a timer, where the time limit is set to 8 minutes, and 8 papers and a pen each for every team member. All right. Once the timer starts, every team member is going to sketch their ideas, sketch whatever they think they would want in your solution. They're gonna try and fill all 8 papers. They're gonna fill each paper with a different idea, each team member. And once the timer is done, they're gonna put down your pens, and then the team is going to keep in front the papers that they just drew. And that is all for the second day of the design sprint. All right, let me just explain sketch again. First, the team is going to think what they would want in their project, and then they're going to follow the crazy eights method to sketch 32 different ideas in 32 papers, and they're going to put it in front. All right, that is all for the second day. And now let's go on to the third day. On the third day, the team is going to finalize the ideas. You're going to decide what all ideas would be suitable for your application. What ideas will actually make your application a good application. All right. So for that, it's so I guess every team member should have 8 papers, 8 ideas. So each team member is going to take 5 to 10 minutes. They'll be trying to explain their sketches. They have 8 papers in hand, 8 sketches. They're gonna explain each of the 8 sketches. And while they're explaining, the other 3 team members, they're gonna ask questions with respect to each of those sketches to the one who is explaining. All right. So this will bring a clear idea of the other team members mindset. Say if I'm a part of a team, I might not know how my other teammate is thinking, how his mind works. So after listening to his ideas, I might know that I might come to recognize his point of views. All right. So finally, after explaining all 32 sketches, 8 into 4, the team is going to get a better understanding. And now they're going to choose what all is going to be in the solution. For that, we're gonna do a task. All right. So take a board, take a whiteboard or something. If you're offline, if you're meeting up offline, or if you're in online, open up a virtual board and mention all of these 32 ideas in the board. Put it in front of all 4 team members, and each team member is going to circle near each of the idea they like. All right. So finally, once everyone is done circling the ideas they like out of the 32 ideas, you're gonna take the ideas with most number of circles near it, and then you're not gonna second think any more ideas, but then you're gonna choose the ideas that you've chosen as of now. You're gonna do this in the third day of the design sprint, and that is all. Now let's move on to the fourth day of the design sprint. So on the fourth day, what the team is going to do is they're going to prototype their application, their solution. So the team is going to create a first model, a prototype of their final product. All right. So for this, in order to prototype, first they should at least write the working flow of the application. The team should know the working flow of the application to do a proper prototype. So for that, we are going to use the storyboard method. So you can use a virtual board for this, or if you're offline, you can use a whiteboard, a real whiteboard. What you're going to do is, in the whiteboard, you're going to draw each of the pages in your application. All right. You're gonna very detailedly write or draw whatever is going to be in that specific page of your application. You're going to put it on a whiteboard. You're going to make detailed writing or rough drawing of whatever is going to be in your application. You're going to decide the flow. Say for example, the first page in your application is a home page addressing any solution. The next page should direct the user to the actual product of the solution. So you're going to work on the flow and you're going to draw it. Once that is done, the team is going to create a real prototype. Okay, if your solution is an application like say a website or an mobile application for Android or iOS, you can create an actual digital prototype using there are several free prototyping tools available for each OS. So you can choose one of those prototyping tools. Some of them are mentioned in the slide. Say like Keynote in Mac, you can use Sketch, you can use Figma, you can use Marvel, you can use all these, any one of these digital prototyping tool to actually make the prototype of the solution that you're going to make. All right, so that is all you're going to do on the fourth day of the design sprint. Now let's move on to the fifth day, the final day of design sprint. This day is known as validate day. Okay, validate, as it normally means, you're gonna take your prototype, you're having a prototype in your hands, you're gonna give that prototype to at least 5 people. They can be your friends, they can be a family, or anyone, you're gonna give it in their hand, and you're gonna tell them to perform some tasks using that prototype. It may not be in real application, but then you've used a real prototyping tool like say for Marvel. You can work out the application flow using that prototyping tool, so your user can actually use your prototype. So, say for example, let us take the login flow of an application. So first, if tell the participant, tell the people who you're asking to try going through the login flow of the prototype. All right. So while they're going through the prototype, you're gonna ask them some questions. You're gonna ask them some specific questions. Say like, in order to perform a login, the page should contain a box, a email box or a password box. It should be clearly maintained. It should be clearly mentioned that this box is for entering email and this is for password. It should be clearly visible. All right. Only then people will be able to do the task. So you're gonna ask if the information that are given in the prototype are understandable. You're going to ask them if it gives them enough information to perform that task. All right, so you can also ask questions like this. You can ask them if the UI is good, if the application is visually appealing, if it is looking good, or the elements that are used in the application or discoverable. Say if there is a button in your application, and in order to click that button, the button should at least be, it should not be very small. Say if that is a mobile website, if you click that very small button, it's not even going to work. So what you're gonna ask them is, you're gonna ask them if the elements, button is an example, you're gonna ask if the elements are discoverable and easy to click or tap. All right, so once you're done, you'll have several, you'll have all the reviews of the 5 people that you chose. They're gonna those reviews might be positive or they might be negative. All right, because we might not know while developing the design that our application is actually going to be good. So after hearing these good or bad reviews, you're gonna tune your prototype to make it good. You're gonna solve all the you're going to solve all the bad things uh, that the users felt. All right, you're going to change it in the prototyping stage itself, so that when you're developing the actual solution, the actual application, you might not need to make any major changes. All right, so even if you get to know that the design is a complete flop, it is not a bad thing. The whole design sprint took you only five days. All right, 5 days is a very less time to develop and to develop a prototype for a solution. So even if the application's idea is not good, the design sprint is again going to take you 5 days only, so you can start from the beginning. But on the second time, you don't have to you don't have to do all the activities. You know how it is going to work. You might already have an a basement for your application, so you might build upon it. It's going to take you relatively less time than 5 days, so you can easily complete your design within a week or two. All right, so that is all by design sprint. It is a 5 day activity which will take your problem statement to an actual prototype. All right, so here we have some resource videos for you. Say for example, like I mentioned before, that the team has to submit a demo video, so you might not have a clear understanding of how the demo video should be. So we'll be sharing the links to the demo videos of the winners of the past solution challenge. All right, the moderators will be sharing the moderators will be sharing the the video links. The links are being shared in the chat box. Please do make a note of these links so that it will be useful for you while you're while you're going to do a demo video, or even while you build your solution. There are also links to the videos of how to build a project from the idea. Like they're gonna explain you again. If you want to listen to how design sprint is done, that is also explained in the video. So kindly do refer to these videos. The links will be shared in the chat box, and make sure to note them for your future references. All right. So the Google has also given us, the participants, other resources, and Madhuvanthi will be giving you the other resources. 1 minute, guys, while she's uh, sharing
Hello, hello
her slide.
everyone. How are you liking the session so far? Do send a thumbs up in chat if you like it. 1 second, I'll share my screen. Is it visible?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Okay, so as you know, the solution challenge requires you to find a solution to one of those sustainable developer goals. And for it, you need to have skills to build an application from scratch, be it a website or an Android application or an iOS application. So, in order to do that and to boost your skills, Google has given you self-paced code labs to some of their technologies like Kotlin, Firebase, Flutter. The moderators will send you the link to the self-paced labs. Okay. So let us move on to the FAQ session. The Google has already listed some FAQs which we think might arise in your minds. If you have anything other than this, if you have any other queries, make sure to check the Google's FAQ page. The link to that will be shared as well. So let's move on. The first question is, can my solution solve a problem outside of the scope of this 17 sustainable developer goals? So before you find a solution to any of the sustainable developer goals, you would have considered a problem, and then only you would have found a solution for it. So your solution will only be concerned to your problem and nothing other than that. Okay. So the second question is, can I still participate in the solution challenge if there is no developer student club at my university? Yes, you can, as long as you team up with any member at an existing GDSC chapter. The link to our university, that is SRM Ramapuram's chapter, GDSC chapter, has been shared, the dashboard. You can go there and join the community, and you will become a GDSC community member. That way, you will be, eligible for the solution challenge. Um, You can also reach out to our lead if you have any queries regarding this. The next question is, given the implications of social distancing, our ability to test with users was impacted. Will the judges consider this? Yes, yes, it will be considered. Everyone knows how difficult it is to live in this new normal. But certain things will not be considered, will not be taken into account. Okay, so those are your inability to meet as a team, and then if you are not able to test your solution on the users, because that is kind of like a mandatory thing, then only know if your solution is really a solution to one of those problems. So, and then also the network issues that you face, all these will not be considered by the judges. But other than that, some things might be considered, related to COVID and all that. Next question, can one student or team submit with multiple submissions if they have contributed to both projects? Well, the terms and conditions clearly state that limit one entry per person, so each student can only be a part of one submission. Okay. Next is, what is a solution demo? What should it feature? Well, the solution demo is basically a 2-minute video which the judges will consider at the time of evaluation. So the solution demo should mainly contain the main part of your application. If you are preparing like website, then it should contain the main part of the website. It doesn't have to have like every single detail, but you know what Google technology you used, or how the website reacts with the user and all that. So the judges will know, like judges will get an idea of what application you've developed and all that, and they will take into account when evaluating your solution. um, next question. Can our demonstration video be longer than 2 minutes? No, your demonstration video cannot be longer than 2 minutes. It strictly has to be within 2 minutes. Okay, 2 minutes is the maximum. If it is above 2 minutes, only the first 120 seconds of your video will be evaluated by the judges. Next question, does our project have to be deployed for submission? No, it doesn't necessarily have to be deployed. But if you have an account of your user interaction with your project, then it will be like an added advantage for you, but it is not necessary. The submission form asks us for a link to our repository. How can we share our code repo while also keeping our code private? If you want to keep your code repo private, then you must create a private repo on GitHub and add gdsc.solutionchallenge@gmail.com as a collaborator, or else the judges, the Google developers won't be able to see your code, and hence you will be disqualified from the competition. And also, but if you have a public repository on GitHub or Bitbucket or anything, you can just submit the link, but make sure that the link directly takes them to your code, and also make sure you include a readme.txt file, and that text file should contain instructions on how to run your code, so that they will know how to test out your solution. Okay, that's it for the questions, guys. If you have any other questions, make sure to check the FAQ page in the Google developers website. The link to that will be shared. Next, let's move on to what participants said in the past. These are just some participants' words on some of the Google technologies. We'll see about that. First thing is Android Studio. We all know how easy it is to create an Android app from scratch using Android Studio, and Google even provides you code labs for it, and it's totally self-based. You can just learn by yourself, and then you can create your own app from scratch. It's super easy. Next thing is Flutter. Well, Flutter is like, Flutter by Google is very amazing because you can create like multiple applications, like a web application, a Linux application, uh, and like an Android application, iOS application, and also like a web application, all that with a single code base, you know. So it's like very easy and it makes work very productive. Next, the Google platform, Google Cloud platform. Google Cloud platform is like 100% deployable on the cloud. You can Google even uses Google Cloud for technologies like Drive, Gmail, and all that stuff. So it's easy. You can try it out. There's a code lab for it. You can try it out if you want. Next thing is Firebase. Well, Firebase is not only SQL database by Google, it's very amazing. You can use it as a backend for your product, and it is also very easy to add it to your code. Even if you have like a small user base, you can upscale your product very easily using Firebase. TensorFlow. Well, TensorFlow is like a software library for machine learning and artificial intelligence, which is really popular these days. Everyone's like artificial intelligence and all that stuff. So you can really try out Firebase. So that's it for the info section, guys. We cannot wait to see what you build, and we are really excited to have you on board. Another thing I want to say is you can join our Discord server. GDSC Ramapuram, GDSC SRM Ramapuram are going to conduct various events like networking sessions, workshops, fun activities, team building sessions during this whole course of the solution challenge. And you all can join our community. Will be very active on Discord. We are also conducting a team building session tomorrow on Discord. Also, our members will be very active on Discord. You can ask them about any query that you have regarding the solution challenge. Follow us. Make sure you follow us on all our social medias. We'll be posting updates regularly about the solution challenge. So make sure you follow that. Thank you.
Okay, guys, the link to the social media handles will be shared by the moderators. Please do make a note of it also. Please do visit us to get further updates on the upcoming sessions that the GDSC SRM Ramapuram, will be conducting for the solution challenge. Do follow us on Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, and especially don't forget to join our Discord server. Thank you, guys. Thank you for attending the event. I hope you all, got a lot of information about the solution challenge from this event. I'm so great that I'm so great to have you all here for this event. Thank you. And before you all leave, I would love if you guys would, fill the feedback form. The link to the feedback form is shared in the chat box. Please do, fill the feedback form before you leave the session.